The setup earlier that was nice that was trying to post, and again, I don't know, maybe it's people are more of a visual learner, maybe they're an audio learner where they want to hear something for added confluence or confirmation. But I've always been a type of person, and again, I know everyone's learning curves are different, but I've always been a person that's very heady or like headstrong, where I look at things in terms of, if I don't know how to do this on my own, I've got to figure some shit out, right? Like I've got to figure some shit out. I cannot rely on double verification or listening to what someone else says. So I try my best to post things in text so people can maybe identify that in real time. But what I was posting earlier was the 23,424, 23,425. That was the week's highs, right? If I was to just zoom out, really zoom out here and scroll to the left, we'll look at this high that we had here from Thursday. One, two, three test at 23,425. If I was to zoom back, look at this high here on this overnight Asian session going from Wednesday to Thursday to the mark 23,424. If I go back a little bit more, right, and I just keep going back here, there was one more day here back on Monday, 23,424. What the hell do we think was going to happen if 23,420 got steamrolled, right? So if you look at what happened today, I was trying to do my best to post like, hey guys, I like the consolidation here up at this high of day. I like that we're holding VWAP, we're holding 20 SMA, consolidated literally after the spike here, 710 until we broke it at 8:30. That was about an hour and 20 minutes of just pure consolidation. Once it breaks, it immediately pulled back. These you can look at as trap zones, right? So trap zones here at these big key areas. So as soon as you sweep, again, could it have swept and went up 30, 40, 50 points in one candle? Absolutely. But more times than not, you're going to probably see some type of trap. So you want to see a break and retest. You want to see a break and hold and then confirmation. You want to see something else happen after the initial event. But if you were just patient enough to wait for this and actually trust it, and what I've started to see, especially a lot in this room, I've been a little bit more quiet than normal in terms of these calls, a little bit more, I guess, learning, right? Learning people's behaviors. And what I see, for one, just by lingering in the background, people trade too many fucking setups, and I hate to say it, if that's you, because I'm recording this and I'm gonna post it up. If that's you, that's a big fucking issue, right? And if you don't like the way that I'm delivering that message, I don't, at this point, I don't really care. But people are trading too many setups. You're looking for too many strategies. You're looking at too many levels. You're not sticking to one particular series of events and being happy or content with the outcome. You don't want to lose. I'm here to tell you, you're going to fucking lose. Like, you're not going to win every trade. Not every day is going to be all crimson and clover. It's not going to be happy every single day. You're not going to not have stress on a weekly basis. It's going to happen. I'm also seeing, adding in a lot of indicators, a lot of different levels, a lot of things outside the script of any one of your strategies. And it doesn't have to be my particular strategies or my levels that I trade, but I'm seeing almost too much wanting confluence. Like, okay, well, I've got this level, that level, that level. I need to see X, Y, Z, and B happen before I take a trade. And guess what? You would have made money along the way during X, Y, and Z, right? So that's what I see a lot. I'm also noticing a lot of tilt, a lot of tilt of just not being satisfied, going up on the day P&L wise, wanting to take $50 more, wanting to make $50 more. On the grand scheme of things, is an extra $50 on the day going to make or break your life? It's not. It's really not. And I don't really even care if you're trading 20 accounts copy traded together. Is the dollar amount going to be a lot heavier on 20 accounts and an extra $50? Sure. But does that mean that you need to force trades if you're already positive 150, $250 on the day for an extra 50 to make some round number? It just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense why people think that way, because for me, it's I'm not really looking to make the most amount of money in the day. You know, I've lost my ego a long time ago when it comes to trading. That got thrown out of the window years ago. So I'm not really trying to compare myself to anyone that I've ever seen on social media or Instagram or YouTube or trading communities or none of this other stuff that I've seen. I got to pay my bills, and I got to pay my bills the best way possible. And the best way possible for me to pay it is to just not do stupid shit and just stick to what I know that works for me. And whether that's 1 or 2 levels a day, and whether that's 1 or 2 strategies a day that I'm really looking for and just looking to just snipe those, is what I want to really stick to. You know, I'm not looking for the newest and greatest shiny object, right? Also, another issue that I see is just these setups and strategies with such a high R multiple, looking for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 points. It sounds great in theory. There's a lot of people who are out there doing that kind of stuff, but you have to think about it on the bigger scale of things. On the bigger scale of things, am I saying that it's not possible? No, but you also have to take into account everyone's DNA and everyone's brain thinks differently. So even though you may have seen or know of a strategy or an R multiple type of model that works, it might not work for you. Like for me, it doesn't work to hold, because let me be honest, one of my setups and my strategies, which is very simple, the 20 SMA strategy, and using these linear regressions or using daily moving averages to give me confluence, I had a beautiful long setup at 6:45 in the morning. I mean, absolutely fantastic. 23-point range candle, confirmation on the following candle, get you into that. Never once came close to back testing that 20 SMA or losing it, and went from a price, realistically, from 23,384 into my target, which was this week's highs, 23,424. And that's about 40 points. And did I take anything close to 40 points? No. Did I have the target of 40 points? Absolutely. Did it have to go 40 points? Absolutely not. Did I know that it was going to go there? No. Did I have maybe a suspicion that we could go from supply to supply? Yeah. But you know what I know about myself is that I'm not that type of trader. I can't get into a trade, watch it go up. Let's see here. Watch it go up in 5 minutes from 23,384 to 23,400, which is 15 points, and then pull back and take me to break even. I can't do that. Pull back and take me to a drawdown. I can't do that. Because for me, more so than not, what it does for me is it gives me anxiety. And it gives me the feeling of tilt, and it gives me the feeling of emotions like, son of a bitch, I was in this thing for 10 points, I was in it for 12 points, I was in it for 15 points, and now I watched myself, you know, essentially throw away 10 to 15 points because I want more. Because I want more. And I know that over the course of a week and over the course of a month and over the course of a year, that's going to completely eat and chew at me to where I won't be happy trading. Like I wouldn't be happy trading, because the days where it goes up 10 to 15 points and then comes back and never, you know, gives me any more profits and then throws me down out of the trade 25 points, it would make me almost sick to my stomach, to where I would probably in fact overtrade, and I would oversize, and I would probably martingale this where I'm doubling the size on the next trade, which we know could be a bad potential outcome, because now I'm putting down 2.5 times, 3 times the risk, being that I've already taken the loss. But I know that about myself. So I think a lot of traders need to figure things out about themselves, because at the end of the day, it's not the strategies, it's not the levels. And I've preached this since the beginning, since the inception of starting this community, that it's not about the particular setups. I'm not here to tell everyone to trade the way that I do. I'm not here to tell everyone to trade the specific levels that I do. You can use them as a tool. You can use them as a tool. You can use them as maybe, you know, an additional weapon to your arsenal. But you don't have to trade exactly like me. You don't have to take 5 to 10 points exactly like me. You can look for the bigger trades, 15, 20 points. But I'm just saying, when you get into those trades where you're really looking to catch a whole day's trend and it doesn't do that, it's going to tear at you and it's going to cause you to do things that you don't want to do later. Because for every winning day that you have, you're going to have a day that's 2-3 times just as big because you went on tilt, you oversized, you went outside your playbook, you incorporated too many different setups, versus setting up a plan where if you normally make $200 to $300 a day, you should probably be in the realm of $200 to $300 daily max loss. However it comes, whether you want to, lose $200 on one trade and you want to put up that amount of risk and you're just a one and done type of guy, one and done type of girl, where, like, hey, I found this idea, I waited for this level and, it worked out for me or it didn't work out for me. Or you're someone who knows you want to take a handful of trades and maybe you should be risking $50 to $100 a trade, right? Maybe you should be trading a little bit smaller size. If you know that that's your personality, you have to figure out what your personality is. Some people want to take one trade a day. And I would recommend for those people who want to take one trade a day, then you really want to have a system built around that to where if you take that one trade a day and it works out, you're going to be okay with the profits enough to walk away. But there's a lot of people who would love the idea of taking 1 or 2 trades a day and they trade exceptionally small size. And guess what? The fulfillment factor is not there for them. So what they end up doing is walking away from what would be a perfect day to only continue to trade more, and then they lose that and then they go on tilt. So if you're a 1 or 2 type of trades person a day, then to be honest, you probably want to be in that ballpark to where you're risking $250, $350 a trade to make $250, $350 a trade or more. That's where you want to be. Win, lose, draw, or tie, you definitely want to walk away on that. Now, if you're someone who enjoys the smaller take profits in the $30 trades, the $50 trades, the $60 trades, the occasional $100 trades, trading, 2 or 3 micros, something like that, then you might be able to sit there and take 3 to 4 trades. And you might be able to sit there and compound. Perfect example is Viv. He's in the mentorship program. And I've been talking to him a lot on the sides through direct message. But he was having some success. He passed about 3 to 4 evaluations. And once he got into those funded accounts, maybe price action wise, ran into a little bit of a bad day, took a loss here or a loss there, right? And what I said is, how about this? How about we just try to focus on, maybe a couple of setups and let's just take our 5 points on them. Let's just focus on stacking up days. And I shit you not, going into each day with that type of mindset, if you go back to our personal profit and loss channel here, I think almost every day this week, if not every day this week, he has logged a 50+ day on every single day. Okay. And yeah, today, $54 across 4 fundeds. Yesterday we did $65 across 3 fundeds. The day before that we did, let's see, because he's been pretty good at posting, $57 across 2 fundeds and $150 across 1. And I mean, when you really look at that situation, every single day on Monday was $67 times 3 accounts. Every single day today green. Now maybe he has found something sweet for him. Versus another person looking at those P&Ls might be like, oh, that's great, but what about if he just took one more trade? I'm sure there was another trade out there. There's always going to be another trade, guys. There's always going to be another trade. And that's the thing with trading. I think people are trading way too long. They're trading too many sessions. They're trying to trade all hours of the day. They're trying to catch every single setup. You're not going to catch them all. This is not Pokemon. You're not going to catch them all. There's always going to be another setup around the corner. There's always going to be another day around the corner. The market's not going anywhere. Since I've been alive, the stock market's been open. And I think since all of you guys have been alive as well, the stock market's been open. And guess what? The stock market will probably continue to be open well long after we all are not walking on this earth. So what in the hell are we doing forcing so many trades, forcing so much size, not being happy with a loss day? Do you think that you're never going to take a loss? It's impossible. If you take any professional athlete who is getting paid millions and millions of dollars to do their craft, are they 100% free throw shooter? Absolutely not. Are they 100% three-point shooter? Absolutely not. Does the NBA Finals or the World Series winner, the Super Bowl winner, did they win 100% of their games? Absolutely not. It's been very rare that a team has gone undefeated all year. Again, football would probably be a little bit of the most easiest way to go undefeated. But the point is that a lot of teams don't go undefeated all year and they can still win a championship. They can still come out on top. You know what I'm saying? And every individual player is not 100%. There's no quarterback that has 100% pass completion rating for the day. You know, they throw 35 passes. Not all 35 passes are complete, but they don't need to complete all 35 passes to win the game. Does that make sense? The highest multi-million dollar, $100 million man in the Major League Baseball does not bat 1,000. They're batting 250, 350, maybe on the cusp of 400. That's having a phenomenal year. That means that they're getting hits 3 to 4 times max out of 10. And these are $100 million men. So when I think about that concept, you can be what's considered, quote unquote, the world's greatest and not be 100%. So why is it that us as traders want to be 100% on the day? Want to be 100% on the week, day in and day out, week in and week out? You've got to get it through your heads that you're going to run into those losses, and it's how you're dealing with those losses. It's how you're talking to yourself as a person, you know, man to man in the mirror with only yourself, and how you're going to come out of that, how you're going to react out of that. Because again, it's you. I can sit here with no particular strategy, just watch the price action and, oh, okay, great spot to bounce here, let's fire it. Do I know that the trade's going to win? No, I don't. It's a 50-50 shot, right? It's a 50-50 shot that this was going to get rejected at the linear regression and pull back. Now, if I was looking for a complete reversal on the day, looking for 100 points, yeah, probably not going to get that, right? Is there a chance that I do? Maybe, absolutely. But probably a strong possibility that I'm not going to get 100 points, right? In the time or manner fashion that I want to. But if I start saying, well, you know, here's a potential rejection spot, I just, you know, looking for 5 points, 10 points. Is there a higher probability that I'm going to get that? Probably, yeah. But am I going to be able to make $1 million on that trade? Probably not. But can I do that on a day in and day out basis to where I find these setups on a day in and day out basis and take a little piece of the pie here, a little piece of the pie there? Sure, absolutely, right? And you don't need some high-tech fancy strategy. Like, for example, I don't want to shit on the guys who have these very intricate strategies, looking at all these fancy words that I don't even know what the fuck they mean. You know what I'm saying? And I've been trading for 13 years and I've traded with some really, really good people. You know, I've traded with, you know, my mentor traded on Wall Street for a professional prop firm on the equity side of things for over 18 years and has been trading now for about 35 years. And all of this, you know, fucking liquidity shit here and inverse fair value gap here, it's candlesticks patterns, guys. It's candlesticks patterns. It's volume, it's price, it's buyers and sellers. Where does a emotional buyer meet a technical seller? That's what was told to me. Where does an emotional seller meet a very technical buyer? And that's where you're going to have snags. It's an open marketplace. This is a trade market. Where do buyers feel comfortable paying up to, and where do those sellers feel comfortable selling down to? That's all you're trying to figure out on a day in and day out basis. And again, you don't have to be 100% right. You don't have to be picture perfect. There is no rhyme or fucking reason as to why this market is going up or down. If I was to talk to anyone in February and March, everyone thought that this world was going to come to a fucking end with the tariffs and what Trump is doing and, oh, blah, blah, blah. Look at Trump's supposed to be so great for this market and the market's down. We're down 30%. We were in a bear market for a month, guys. We're at all-time fucking highs. We're at all-time highs. The man has done it again. It happened during COVID of 2020. We had a V-shaped recovery and all-time highs, and we just had one again. So the market is going to do what the market wants to do. There is no rhyme or reason. Okay? There's no rhyme or reason. There's no one out to get you. The market's not trying to do anything fishy. But it also knows that with the amount of participants that are in the market, there's going to be emotional troubles. There's going to be emotional spots in this market where people are going to be met with technical buyers and sellers when you're very emotional. Okay. And a lot of that has to do with position sizing and how much drawdown you're in. Like, for example, if you get into a trade and let's say you're sized 5 micros, 1 minute, anything in between, market gets you into a trade, pulls back 20 points. Whoa, that's gonna hurt. You know, down 150, down 200. But there's a guy out there who's trading 2 micros. And I'm not saying that you have to trade 2 micros. I'm just putting things into a little bit perspective. And there's a guy down there down $30. You know, and the emotional seller is going to sell to that technical buyer. And the guy who's just sitting in the background, just trying to take a slice of the pie here and there, who's in, you know, down $30 on a couple of micros, is going to sit through that drawdown, and then they're going to be along the ride for, you know, when the market does come back. Or they're going to take a much larger stop loss or much smaller stop loss than the person who's trading larger size and taking the larger stop loss. So when you start to understand that theory, and you start to understand that the bigger picture always wins. Okay, it's the bigger picture. It's not what's happening right then and now in any one particular scenario. You know, I'm just reading Viral's message in the losses channel because maybe I can make a point here. Viral was someone that I was working with too for a while. You know, had some success, but it's I think with any one trader, we can all narrow down what our biggest fault is. And on a day in and day out basis, that instead of making money, instead of passing accounts, instead of trying to get paid out, all I would try to do is focus on that one core mistake that I'm making and fucking eliminate it. So I hope that Viral will watch this replay because I'm going to read their losses lessons here. Blew my funded account. I was up $270 off NQ short. Here's one thing that I'm going to stop and correct right then and there. I feel that over the course of the last month, I've told Viral to stop trading probably a half dozen times. Stop trading. Stop trading. Stop trading. How much are you up? Stop trading. Stop trading. On the open and didn't lock out. For some reason, I switched to long instead of staying short. I was also oversized, trading a mini on this price action, just trying to do things fast. Do we see what the problem is here? Not being content. Why are we not content with the $270? Why? If we stack that up every single day, it's $1,000 a week. It's $4,000 a month. If that's not enough for you, go get 2 accounts. It's $8,000 a month doing just that. You guys want to see a prime example? Me and Burks have come up with a beautiful system here where we've had many discussions. We've lost funded accounts. We've gotten paid out multiple times. And we kind of came to a scenario where conversation, you know what? I'm just a little tired of you know, having some accounts, getting one payout and then blowing it up, right? What can we do? Like, what's going to take more stress off of our backs? Well, maybe we just lower this daily target down. Maybe we just look for a handful of trades instead of trying to trade all day. And maybe we just say, fuck it. And we just come back tomorrow and try to do the same thing again. Win, lose, or draw. And then come back the next day and say, fuck it, and do it all again. It's a lot easier to make $100 a day, $200 a day than it is to make 500. I will tell you that right now. Okay. Switch to long instead of staying short. Nothing wrong with that. Again, price action could have been saying that we were going long and maybe there was a potential setup there. So I'm not going to have any knock on that. Was also oversized. Now, here's the thing. When we're up $270, why are we oversizing, Viral? Why are we oversizing when we're up $270? If anything, we should be sizing down and just adding cherries to our sundae, right? We should just be adding a little half scoop to our ice cream cone. We're not trying to throw the whole gallon of ice cream on a 3-scooper. Like we already have a 3-scoop ice cream cone in our hands. What are we doing taking the gallon and trying to pour that on top and expecting that cone to hold it? Does that make sense? Size down. Size down. In that particular case, you want to still fuck around and trade? Put on 1 micro for your ego. Put on 2 micros for your ego to get the itches out, you know, to get the scratches going. So you can say that you're still trading and you're still practicing and this, that, and the other. But we don't go when we don't size up. That's just what we don't do, guys. We don't do it. Trying to do things fast. Why? I wasn't aware that we are in a marathon, that we are in a sprint. I thought this is a marathon. What are we sprinting towards? What are we sprinting towards? What are we sprinting towards? I don't understand it. So now there's an adjustment to be made here. Viral is saying that they're going to trade 2 MNQs, try to get funded with 3,000 before they trade another funded account. Lessons for August: static size, 1 MNQ, 2 MNQs. Here's the thing. Hopefully that they listen to this video. Trading 1 MNQ from you trading 1 mini right now is going to be like night and day. It's going to feel like you're not trading at all. And it's going to give you a feeling of, you know what? This is not enough for me. I'm doing really well. I would have made all this more money. It's going to cause you to oversize, and you're going to oversize, and literally the market gods will slap you on the hand. They'll throw you down everything that you made in the last week. So I would come to a size that's going to be content. It wouldn't be 1 micro if you're used to trading up to 1 mini. Let's just cut it in half, go 5 micros, 4 to 5 micros, call it at that, right? Call it at that. 2 losses or stop trading, stick to 1 bias, either long or short. These are okay rules, but again, the market gives us opportunities to go long and short throughout the day. So sticking to 1 bias is going to get you hurt, if not killed. Because if you come into the market with such a strong long bias today, and let's say off the open it does spike and it gets you into that long position and the chart looks beautiful going long, and let's say we hit a supply and it was just nothing more than an early morning opening trap, and the market goes down, guess what you're going to do? You're going to average down, and the market's going to go down a little bit more, and you're going to take the loss. Then the market's going to bounce, and you're like, okay, here's my long, and then it's just nothing more than a back test into supply, and then it goes down more because you stuck to 1 bias. I would eliminate that rule of sticking to 1 bias. Maybe you can narrow that focus down to sticking to 1 bias, maybe in a 5-minute candle, in a 15-minute candle, right? Doing something like that. But coming into the day and saying that you're just going to have 1 particular bias, I think is not the best idea, because you can get stuck and married to that bias. 2 losses or stop trading. I like that. 2 losses in a row for me. It doesn't necessarily have to be 2 losses on the day. I kind of do 2 losses in a row, but that's normally because of the size that I'm trading. If I take 2 losses, that's my daily max limit. What I would do is static size for 1. It wouldn't be 1 or 2 micros. It would be 3 to 5 micros. Okay. 3 to 5 micros. Keep it there. Never oversize any more than that. Number 2, the 2 losses, the stop trading after 2 losses. Instead of that, I would pick a dollar amount. And this is what I recommend to everyone. It's very generic, but it makes a lot of freaking sense. 10% of your drawdown. So if you have a $2,500 drawdown on a 50K account, you risk no more than $250 a day. However you want to do that. You want to do that in 2 trades, 125 stop losses. Fine. Enter your trades. As long as your stop loss doesn't get hit, continue to trade. Right? That's it. Just do that. As your balance moves up, and let's say you make $1,000, and now, you know, maybe I would increase it to $300 a day, because you got a little bit of cushion there, right? And if you get over a specific, you know, let's say you make $2,000 in profit, I would probably go up to $400 to $500 a day, right? But again, it has to grow with you as your account balance grows, but it should be $250 until you start making some cash. 2 losses where, you know, maybe you're risking, you know, $40 on a trade is only an $80 loss. Like, I think any one of us can crawl back from an $80 loss. What if, you know, we take 2 losses, we lose $40 and $40, $80, but the next trade goes all day for 30 or 40 points. You would have made all the money back, right? So I like the hard daily loss limit, because it's kind of like, shit, I can't do anything anymore. I've hit my daily loss limit. That's it. I'm out, right? Versus just telling yourself, well, if I take 2 losses, that's it. I'm over, right? Again, unless you do it like I do it, where 2 losses is going to be your daily loss limit. So that's why I personally have 2 losses set up that way. So if I take 2 back-to-back losses, it's going to put me at about $350, $400 daily loss limit, and that's my max pain for the day on a 50K. Eric said, I have been sticking to my goals pretty well recently. $200 profit for my 50K, $600 profit for 150, and $900 for the 250. Every day this week, I have beaten those goals on all my accounts. Perfect. That's great. And guess what? We can have those goals, and sometimes we're going to beat those goals. Sometimes we're going to beat those goals. You know, like some days the market's going to be hot, and you're just going to see it clearly, and you might go over that threshold, right? So it's just in a sense of like this, where like, let's say you go up, again, I hate to do it, but I'm going to use viral as the example. You go up 270 off the open. Well, if you have and viral has told me this before, that's why I'm going to call it out. They have told me that they had a $200 loss limit, or a $200 profit limit. So if we're up 270 and we're still trading, you're $70 over the mark. Do you see where we're going into, where we're having problems here? That's why we're having problems. We're having problems because we are setting forth rules for ourselves and we're not sticking to them. So there has to be a root issue. There's a cause here. What's the issue? Until that issue gets addressed, there's not going to be no change. There's not going to be no change. Okay? Because the emotions are going to be too strong. They're going to completely overwhelm you, and it's gonna ruin your trading life, because you're constantly going to be in this spin cycle, in this blender of, okay, I have these rules. Okay, I broke these rules again. I have these rules. Okay, I broke these rules again. Okay, I'm going to stop at $200 in profit. No, I just want a little bit more. It's way too early in the day. It's only been 5 minutes, and there's going to be more money out there. And that's not the focus. The focus is longevity. The focus is capital preservation. That's the focus. Let me tell you guys something. With no money, you can't trade. With no trading, you can't make money. So until we have that face-to-face conversation with ourselves in the mirror and fix those problems, I don't give a shit what strategy you trade. It doesn't matter. Like, for example, someone can take a fucking long right here off of this 20 SMA. Is it going to work? No. I don't know. Maybe. But the thing is here is, well, I can put on some pretty defined risk here. If I close below the 20 SMA, I can get out of this trade. If it bounces just a tad into the middle of this range, I can take some profits. If it wants to test the high of day for a double top here, I can take some profits. But if it bounces and it closes below, my risk is defined. That's a trade idea. But you know what the problem is? Doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Well, the market could be pulling back here. Market could be pulling back here, and I don't want to get caught here. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to short here. Market goes up 15 points, you get stopped out. Do you see how you putting your own opinions on things doesn't fucking matter anyways? It doesn't matter anyways. Win, lose, draw, or tie, you don't know if you're going to win or lose money on any one particular trade. You don't. Now, am I saying for everyone to go out and go buy long here? No, I'm not. But I'm just saying you can make a case at any point in time in the day. That's what's the crazy thing about strategies, is you can make a case to take a trade at any point in time of the day. Literally any point in time of the day, we can build a very strong case for putting on risk and putting on a target at any point in time of the day. So that's what tells me that it's not the strategy that is hindering people from making money. What's hindering people from making money is not accepting the outcome of whatever they did. That's it. A lot of people say, well, I can trade a lot better, easier in an evaluation than I can in a funded account. You want to know why? Because when you're taking these setups, you're not thinking about the outcome that much. That's what it is. Oh, well, because you know, in an evaluation, I might throw on a long here, right? Oh, it doesn't work. It closes below the 20. Guess what? I'm just going right back short. Right back short. So long idea here, works out great. Take some cash, move it along. Long idea here, breaks down. Oh, well, you know, maybe it's going short now, and now I can target this 424, make my money back and some. That's it. Because you don't care. In a funded account, you're trying to be so precise. You're trying to be so perfect. Oh, if I take it here, I don't want to take a loss. I don't want to take the loss, right? So that's what you're doing. You're over-analyzing so much stuff on a day in and day out basis. You're not trusting the process. You're not trusting the strategy. You're not even convinced that the setup that you're taking on a day in and day out basis is going to fucking work. And that's the sad truth. That's the sad truth. How many people, again, if you're in here, how many people, I teach one strategy that's very easy to use. Now, I trade a lot more strategies. I use a lot more levels. You guys know linear regressions. You guys know the daily 5. Look at the daily 5 here. Look at the sweep of the daily 5 this morning, guys. Swept the daily 5, closed back over the daily 5. Again, on my chart, here's the sweep. The green line's the daily 5. We swept it, we closed below it, and then literally reclaim it. Perfect long setup from 23,361. Did anyone take it? No. Whoa, why? Whoa, market's going to be going down. Don't trust it. I need something else to happen. I need all this other information. Because you don't trust the strategy. Now, I'm not saying that you have to trust the daily 5 or you have to trade the daily 5. I'm not saying you have to trade the VWAP. I'm not saying you have to trade the 20 SMA. I'm not saying none of that. But what I'm saying is if you don't have conviction, it doesn't matter what you're trading, guys. Doesn't matter what you're trading. There's no perfect entry here. Well, how can I catch this trend all day long? I don't know. Go out there and find the level that you can build a case around that you're going to trust. Does that make sense? How many people took a 20 SMA today? Curious. There's 4 people in here. Did anyone take a 20 SMA setup? And if the 20 SMA, I'm not saying you have to be the only trade that you trade. But by golly, guys, a little slap in the face to me that for people that are joining this room and the people that are in this room, if you guys don't even trade as a part of your tools, as a part of your tool belt, trade a 20 SMA here and there, just throw me a bone and at least trade that. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know, what do you want me to do? You want me to hold your hand and tell you that I know that the market's going up higher? I'm not the man in the fucking algorithm. I'm not some false prophet on YouTube that's going to say I know exactly what the market's going to do. You know what I'm really good at is I'm really good at doing what it is that I do, what it is that I'm comfortable with doing, and trusting what I trust. That's it. I'm really good at building a plan. That's what I'm really good at. I'm really good at analyzing what do I need to do, reverse engineering. What do I need to do to get a fucking payout with these stupid prop firms? I need to make $3,000. I need to make $2,600. I need to have 5 days over 200. How can I get there? How can I get there? I need to make with Apex $2,600 and I need to have them be at least a $50 winning day. So you know what I do from the jump, guys? I analyze. I reverse engineer. $50 times 30 days is $1,500. Okay? So if I make $50 a day, I'm going to need to have 60 winning days before I can request a payout. Not that much. It's more closer to like 52, 53. That's about a month and a half, almost 2 months. Okay. That's the reverse engineer on that. So you know what I'm more concerned about? I'm not concerned about the market dropping right now. If I should go long, if I should go short. You want to know what the level is? 23,424. See if that holds up. That's it. I will then do this. If I make $100 a day times 30 days, that's 3,000. That's interesting to me. Okay. What about if I make $85 a day times 30 days? It's $2,550. Okay. $90 times 30. It's $2,700. That puts me at 3. There's a 20 SMA play here, guys, with 23,424. 23,424 as potential support. This is the first back test though since reclaiming this weekly level. So if anything, if anyone is in on this 20 SMA short, 5 points, 10 points, get the hell out. Okay, 5 points, 10 points, get the hell out. You don't want to be in this trade if it breaks back over 440s. Okay, so again, the low price here, 23,437. We're currently trading at 434 with lows tested of 432. That was 5 points. If you didn't snag it, you know what? If it gives you another opportunity, just get the fuck out of the trade, because it doesn't have to come down here to 425 and test. It could very well be testing it right here, right now with this wick that we had on the first breakout around 428, 429. That's why first back test here, 20 SMA, legitimate, yeah, but first back test on a rising trend. So this would be considered going against the trend. So anytime you're going against the trend, those take profits need to be quick. Those stop losses need to be tight. So I would not want to be in this trade anything over 443, 444 short. I don't want to be in the trade short. And again, if I can get an opportunity to make any kind of money on it P&L wise, I am going to take that and get out. So back to my point, what's really more important to me, how can I get a payout? $90 times 30, $2,700, right? So that's putting me over $50 a day with Apex. I need $50 a day. Fine, I've made 90. I need 30 trading days. Now, are you going to win 30 days in a row? No. So it's going to take a little longer than 30 days, right? But all in all, you kind of get that. But if you're like about $120 a day type of guy or girl, right? $120 a day times, let's say, you know, what is it? Let's just play around. Times 23 days, that's $2,700. So if I make $120, I only need 23 days before I can get a payout. I need to log 23 days, I don't care how it happens, and I could take a payout. Have anyone in here that's listening to this call, has anyone here done that? Have you reverse engineered the math to know what you need to make? Or are you sitting there every day saying, I need to make $500 a day. If I make $500 a day for the next 30 days, oh my gosh, that's going to be, you know, what is it? Fucking math here. That's $15,000 a month. Oh man, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be so rich. Good luck. Good luck, my friend. Good luck, right? So think about things in a more realistic perspective, guys, until you start getting paid out. I've worked with Burks for a long time. Me and him are buds. We've been trading together for about 2 years now. We have a lot of conversations in private DMs. Again, he's no special. You guys can DM me on the side. You want to chit chat? We can chit chat. But what I'm saying is we've had a lot of conversations built around this kind of stuff, right? Not this. Guys, Burks trades some 20 SMAs. He uses some daily levels. He uses a 15-minute chart, uses a 60-minute chart. I use a 60-minute chart, use a 50-minute chart for Confluence, kind of use some daily levels, use some 20 SMAs here, use some orbs. I use a little bit of this and that, right? But I will tell you this, guys. I have never once asked Burks, what strategy did you use today, buddy? I don't give a shit. And you know what? He's never asked me either when I post up a game. Hey man, he'll say, congratulations, hey, good day today. We had a good fucking week. Yeah, sure, we sure as fuck did. But he's never saying, what setup did you take today at 7 o'clock in the morning? Doesn't ask me. You know why? Because he doesn't fucking care. He doesn't fucking care. Because there's so many strategies out there, there's so many setups out there. That's not what's the picture. The picture is can we get to this magic number to get us paid? Right? That's the thing. And why I ramble like this, guys. Some people will think that it's just freaking Bible study, right? That it's just blatant ranting. But the people who will really come around to it, and you'll come around to it when you actually start making money, will understand that all of this crap that I talk about makes sense. And it has nothing to do with your strategy. It has to do with your mindset. It has to do with the daily loss limit. It has to do with these daily targets. Trading prop firms is not like trading a personal account by any stretch of the means. It's completely different. Trading prop firms, I hate to say it, it's a fucking game. Who's going to play the game better? But you know what the problem is? People who are trading prop firms, they see the leverage on how many accounts you can get. They think this is a game of trying to be the world's best trader with the world's best strategy, reading the world's best price. You're playing the wrong game, my friends. You're playing the wrong fucking game. That's not the game. The game is to understand, what rules do I need to abide by? What rules do I need to abide by so I can get paid? What numbers do I need to hit so I can get paid? That's it. That's it. Eric has a plan. All he needs is 10 points. And there's multiple different ways we can do that, Eric. I'm so crazy. I go down to, well, shit, if price action's kind of dull, I don't need 10 points on one trade. Maybe I could do 5 and 5. Maybe I can do 3, 3, 3. I start doing that. If I need to get to 10 points, I could take 3, 3 and a quarter, 3 and a quarter, 3 and a quarter. There's my 10 points. Ever think about that? right? So there's all these different things that we can do. If the numbers have already been reverse engineered and we know 10 points is sufficient enough on the size that we're trading, it doesn't have to be on one trade. It could be on 3 trades of 3, it can be on 4 trades of 2.5, right? Now, obviously, the more trades we take, the higher the probability is that there's going to be a loser in there. But you guys kind of get my drift, right? 5 and 5, 6 and 6, 4 and 4. Think about it. A lot of different ways to skin this cat. A lot of different ways to skin the cat so we can be less stressed, right? We can wait for one good setup, one good daily level. Let's just say this. Off the open, we flushed, we reclaimed the daily 5. Great. I could put on 22 points for a stop loss. It's a little bit of a negative risk to reward ratio. I could target 10 points. Boom. There's your one trade. Done. Right? Or avoid that. I want this weekly level to get broken and confirmed. Boom. Here's your 10 points. Boom. One trade. Done. Done. 20 SMA long, guys. In line with the trend here. So, a lot of different ways to skin the cat. A lot of different ways to skin the cat. And every single day, that's my focus. So like if someone was to ask me what's my strategy is focusing on how the hell I can get to what I need to get to. That's it. How many trades is it going to take me today to get to what I need to get to? How much can I risk today to get me what I need to get to? Looking at the charts, what level seems the best to get me to those numbers? That's it. And once those numbers are hit, you walk away and you do it all again tomorrow. That's your job. That's your job. But I feel some people are sitting here thinking that their job is they got to read this price action. They got to read this. They got to read that. Oh no, where's the market going? Oh, where's the next best spot to get long? That's not your job. That's not your job. Your job is to figure out how to hit a number and how to do it in so many days. That's your job. If that number gets hit on either side, red or green, you got to stop. And you got to come back tomorrow. It's not rocket science, guys. And things will really make a lot more sense when you start to get paid out. Because you know what you have? You have a lot more money to go reinvest. And with more money to reinvest, the more money you're going to make with the right plan. I mean, even on this 20 play short, hit 5 points. Even this 20 play long here, 423, 447, all the way up to 452, 5 points. I mean, again, probably am not going to get the 5 points there. It was probably closer to 4 points, slippage in and out, this, that, and the other. But you get the drift, though, right? I mean, you like. I mean, what do you want to do? You want to make money, or you worried about being right? Like, well, I want to be right and make money. Well, you know what? Sorry. I want to be a billionaire too. And I also want to have 30 different wives that are all comfortable living together in the same house. How about that? Right? So, it's like when you think about it, I want to, like, I also want to drive the golf ball 400 yards to the green at every hole. Like, that's what I want to do. Is it going to happen? Probably not, right? Probably not. So where I can be more, there's got to be a middle ground, right? We got to have a middle ground. And you got to understand psychology, but you got to understand your psychology. You got to understand what works best for you. If taking a bunch of small scalps doesn't work with your psychology, then yeah, maybe you're looking for that one bigger move. But don't cry and don't get upset about why it didn't move, or why you didn't get the 50 points, or you didn't know it should have. You waited all day for this level and it just didn't do it. You know what, guys? People who are looking for high R multiple trades, they're not probably. I know for a fact they only fire at like 30% of the time, 28% of the time. You're looking for 5 R's, you're risking 1, you're risking, whatever. You're not going to get those trades every day. It might be 2 trades all week that hit for 10 R's and you risked 2.53. That's your week, guys. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for. If that's your style, that's what you're doing. Just get comfortable with losing. Just get comfortable with losing. Because if you lose $300 today, it should be nothing to you. Your winning trade's going to be $1,000. Your winning trade's going to be $700, right? If you trade that way. So what the hell are you crying for, right? But it's the, well, I thought it was going to work and it didn't work. And then now you just go on tilt, and now you're taking these little baby scalps and you're looking for big trades and you're trading too much size. The damn thing has to be systematic from the start. What size do you need to make these high R multiple trades? And what does your stop loss need to be to make it all worth it? Great. Your size doesn't change. Gosh, it's like, it's so frustrating to see sometimes that, why people, they just don't swallow the pill. Like, just swallow the pill and understand it starts with you. Has nothing to do with the news and the markets. I even see that a lot lately, not necessarily in here, but on social media, a lot of people complaining about the news and the headlines. It's like, what the fuck are you worried about? What are we worried about here? Don't trade so much size you wouldn't have got blown out on a news drop. Like, how about that? I can come off as very, very harsh or very, very like realistic or like cold. But like, to be honest, it's because 13 years in this business, I know the market doesn't respect or give a shit about me. And it has slapped me around a lot. And I don't think the market cares about you. And I don't think that anyone else cares about you. So the only person that needs to look out for you is yourself, right? So, and what I also have learned to finish this sermon today, what I've also learned is that people have trouble sticking to something for an extended period of time. You fall off the rails very quickly. And I get it. That's with life, right? That's with life. I'm going to get in shape this year. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to start eating healthy. I'm going to get my health in order. Get those sugar levels down. I'm going to, get that cholesterol down. I'm going to save more money this year. I'm going to travel this year. Guess what? Sounds real good at the beginning of the year. Guess what? A few months in, it just all goes away. It's the same thing with trading. Same thing with trading. Pursuit to 3K challenge has absolutely fallen off of the ringer. I could say, truthfully speaking, Viv and Elder, probably the only ones that really kept up with it. And it's been over a week since anyone's posted there. What happened to the daily check-ins, guys? What happened to the daily goals? What happened to the journaling every day? What happened to using that room with the group to build something? Had a couple of successful days and then fell off the rails. I'm not gonna say, not gonna say. People wanted it. I put it there. They didn't use it, right? Besides a couple. And in that room, before I opened it up to everyone, was on a raise your hand if you want to be in this group project. Raise your hand if you want to be in this group project. And there was 27 people in this room that wanted, there were 32 people in this room that wanted to be in that group project. And only maybe 3 or 4 actively participated. People would love to have a trading room where you can jump in at any time and speak and share your own thoughts and share your own strategies. Not one person reached out to them and said that they couldn't get into this room, that they had trouble getting into this room, that they tried to get into this room and trade with anyone. So what are you looking for? What are you looking for? I am the type of person, I will do my best to help people, but I can't take the trades for you guys. I can't take the trades for you. I can't manage your accounts. You guys all spent hard-earned money. I respect each and every single one of you guys who is in here, but what are you guys looking for? How can I better help you guys? That's a question, because truth be told, to be open and honest, it drives me nuts on a week in and week out basis when I feel like I can't help someone. What would help this community make more money. We are a team. We're a team. KS, I will if people are in it. Right now, there's only one person. So that's on a who's interested basis. But yes, if people were interested, I will work with you one-on-one. Absolutely. Yeah, Bill was another one too. Bill, I forgot all about you. Bill was another one, passed a bunch of things too. Bill, Viv, Elder. Bill, Viv, and Elder. You know, and I get it. I get it. Everyone has lives, everyone works, everyone has things going on. Yeah, you're in the background, you're reading, you're learning. I'm not saying you guys are just here and you're not learning anything, or you're here and you're just not participating, you're not trading. I get it. I get everyone's real busy. Get some people are more social than others. I get all that. I get all that, guys. But if you really think about this as, guys, this is a business. We're in business. This is a team. This is a trade floor. There's over 100 traders, 200 traders in this room. Communication down to almost a zilch. I can't speak all day, every day. I can't call out every single 20 play. Someone else call it out. We're all looking at the same charts. Someone else call out the weekly high, right? We're all looking at the same charts. What's your idea? You know, what's your idea around the levels? I tried to get the roundtable discussion. What are you guys looking for? Blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Crickets. I don't know if people are still trading again. I know it's Friday, right? It's Friday. It's Friday, right? And again, on Fridays, you know, it's a long week. I make a lot of videos during the week. I try to do my best answering personal questions on my DMs. And I do this trading thing, not only futures, I do options and stuff. But you know what? I'm not looking for, oh, pity me. I'm just saying by Fridays, guys, I know myself, I don't want to give back any freaking money. You know, do good on the week and give it back on a Friday just to be pissed off for 2 days. So Fridays for me, I'm always going to be more like, you know, mental reset on what, KS? You need a mental reset? Yeah. And that's another thing. We all need those resets, right? We all need those resets. Again, the charts aren't going anywhere. You know, community will still be here and markets will still be here, price action will still be here. Sometimes it's good to get away and just reset and come back, you know, with a little bit more motivation, a little bit more focus, a little bit more this and that, because it's definitely draining. This business is, you know, it's not, we're not building bridges here, but it's mentally taxing. It will eat you up if you don't know how to separate. If you don't know how to separate, you know? And you know, to speak to Bill, to speak to your point, Bill, going down a rabbit hole and different trails and different things, the question you have to ask yourself at the end of the day is why, right? Why? You know how to trade, you've got levels, you know what's going on. Trading should be the most boring thing that we all do. It should be the most boring thing that we all do. You know, it's boring, guys. It's the same thing over and over and over. KS, what's the mistake you make over and over? What is that number one mistake? Okay, so risk management in terms of trading too much size or over trading. Which one? which is 90% of people, KS. And I was in that same boat with prop firms for a long time too. Have a really good week, even 2 weeks, and one day, one loss on the same setup I've been taking derails everything. And I can blow an account in one day. I can blow an account in one freaking trade. And it happened for a long time. So in your particular case, you're going to see a red day even after 4 or 5 winning days. Here's my question, KS. Because you win 4 or 5 days, why do you expect to win 7 days in a row? Why do you expect to win 10 days in a row? Just because you know how to trade and just because a strategy is working, why do you expect that you're not going to lose? Like, I think a lot of people, and again, I'm not saying this is you, but this is what I feel, and I'm going to voice my opinion. I feel that people feel that they're going to, that they only feel that they've understood this game of trading when they don't lose anymore, when they don't have those red days. That's simply not the case. And I think you know that. But why? What is it about winning 4 or 5 days? Let's say you're up $1,000. I'm just going to use a generic number. Let's say you're up $1,000 in 4 days. The 5th day comes and you lose $250 right off the bat, first 15 minutes of the day. What has changed for you? If you win 4 days in a row and you're up $1,000, in the first 2 minutes of the market opens, you had a perfect trade, you thought, and you're down 250, and I'm just going to use generic numbers. That's your daily loss limit. What has changed over the past 4 days? What feeling are we having to where it's the end of the world feeling, to where it causes us to overtrade, oversize, and blow accounts? And what was the expectation? Did you think that you weren't going to lose a day? You're still up on the week. So what realistically changes? It doesn't set you back it doesn't set you back that far. How do you know that you're not going to win another 4 days in a row after that one losing day? %. So if we, and again, you're no different. Eric and OC, same type of problem. Bill, same type of problem. Bill can relate. Me and Bill have had plenty of conversations. People just word it differently. And I can raise my hand to God and say, I felt the same way that everyone here feels. Burks, a lot of people like what Burks is doing, the consistency. Burks can raise his hand. He's blown 20 accounts in one shot on one day after 2 bad trades and think you can get it back. We've all done it. We all know that it's coming. But what do we have to do? We have to understand, even though we know it's coming, we have to focus on what are we going to do when we are met with reality on that day. The pride, the ego, it needs to go out the window. If you have an ego and you have a lot of pride outside of trading, you better forget about it when you come into this business on a day in and day out basis. You will be humbled. You will be humbled. You are going to lose. There's nothing wrong with walking away down 250. No one's going to sit and laugh at you. You're not going to, you're not going to like lose your house over a $250, $300 losing day. You're not going to lose your account over a $300 losing day. It's not going to happen. But if you sit there and you try to make things right, because many of us, 98% of us in this room, we're men. We're going to fix the fucking problem, right? We're going to fucking fix it. They're not going to get the best of us. We're going to battle back. We're competitive. We're headstrong. We're going to get it back, right? They ain't going to tell us that we're fucking wrong. I know how to trade. I'm going to get it back. Bullshit, you are. Walk away, my friend. Walk away. Because for every 4 or 5 days that you crush it and you run into that one day, that's expected. Good. Bring it on. Bring it on, motherfucker. That's what I say. When I've gone down 2 trades, all right, you son of a bitch, The next 3 or 4 days, I'm going to absolutely crush it. I'll come back. I'll get it back. But I will tell you when I've blown accounts, it's when I don't accept it in that moment in time. When I don't accept it in that moment in time, it's over. I don't care if I was up $1,000 on a day and I go to back to square one. It is over. That account is gone because I'm in such a space where I don't care what's happening. I can get away from all strategies and think that I'm the world's best price action reader and I'm going short. No, fuck this. We're going to bounce from here. I can get in down here and I'm going to catch it all the way back up to the top. Wrong. Right? So that feeling for me and what I've learned, physically, we have to break the mental state that we're in because mentally, you're not going to break that state. Just sitting there in front of the screens telling yourself, okay, I get it, I understand. No. You're going to sit there, you're going to get fixated on the price, you're going to get fixated on the next candle. You have to break that mental state with something physical. So maybe when we take that loss, or we know we're close to that daily loss limit, physically, we break the mental state. That could be anything for you. People used to ask me all the time, why the hell is this guy in the morning and then he's gone like an hour and a half out? I'm breaking my mental state, whether I'm green, red, or flat. I'm breaking the mental state and I'm getting up and I'm doing something else. I'm going to go out and get a coffee. Do I want to go spend $6 on a coffee? No. But that $6 a day that I spend on a coffee by getting my ass in the car and driving and going to wave at all the baristas and asking how everyone's day is in the coffee shop breaks my mental state from whatever just happened in the previous hour and a half, 2 hours of the market. And that $6 a day has saved me from potentially blowing up accounts some days. Because then sometimes I come back and now I completely forgot about what happened in the morning and then I see a really good trade. And some days I make it back. Or some days I come back and I take another losing trade and guess what? And at that point I'm like, oh, well, shit. I guess today's just not my day because I already took a big loss in the beginning and now I took another loss. Okay, well, I'll come back tomorrow. But we've got to break that mental state with something physical. Now, it doesn't have to be getting up and leaving the house, but maybe going to do something else around the house, maybe getting back to your 9 to 5 and coming back tomorrow. Maybe it's taking the dog for a walk. Maybe it's, going out to eat breakfast. Maybe it's doing, I don't know. But you got to break it physically to get the brain. You have to get the brain to get off of what just happened, the dopamine and all the adrenaline. You need to have it drain out of the brain and reset itself because in the moment, it's not going to reset itself. You have to realize trading is so emotional. You are in fight or flight mode. So it's just like this. You're coming barreling down the street. You're coming to an intersection where you have a left-hand turn on a yield and cars are coming. And you know what? You're in the middle of the intersection. The light turns yellow. It's turning red. And there's cars coming the other direction. You make that left-hand turn. Someone runs the fucking red light. And you escape by a hair. That's fight or flight mode. You need some time to calm down, to ease up a little bit, right? You're going to be so emotional after what just happened. Now, does that mean that you're never going to drive down that intersection again? No, of course. If you got to get back home, you're going to drive back again tomorrow and you're going to do the same thing again. But you know what? You're going to think twice, right? Well, maybe this time I wait until I see all these cars come to a complete stop. There's still a car barreling down the road. I'm not going to assume that they're going to stop just because the light has turned yellow. Light has turned red. Wait, take an extra split second, right? So the same thing in trading. We need to get out of the fight or flight mode in that exact moment in time. So whatever that is for you to break that. And again, the more days that you can practice that one feeling, the easier it becomes. The more numb you become. But if you know you're not good at that and you never do anything physically to break that fight or flight mode, and every day you're kind of just operating with such high emotions, you're always in fight or flight mode. Okay, make money, lose money. Okay, you're just fighting every single day. It's a fight. It's never calm. It's never boring. You should be able to sit back, lean back in your chair, watch the price action, look at some other stuff, get involved in some conversations in the community, mark out some levels. Oh, here's a trade, boom, click a button. Not like glued to your screen with, hand over the mouse and just like, okay, drawing lines, okay, long here. Well, like, like right now we're 20 SMA short. Okay, I can get in short here. No, wait, I think we're gonna bounce because we're still over this level. Maybe I should go long. Like, you shouldn't be in that constant fight or flight mode. When you get the trade set up and you get something that you have traded before, it's an A plus or B plus setup in your book, take the trade. Respect the daily loss limit. That's it. One rule: respect your daily loss limit. That's it. You don't like it, you're not happy with it, you're not going to fix it today. Come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. Right? It's not going to really change anything. It's not going to change anything for the better. And for every one day that you hit a daily loss limit and you come back and you battle it back to green, you're actually doing more harm to yourself than good. Because every time you go into that fight or flight mode, you're going to remember back subconsciously to the time that you battled back and you made money. But I hate to say it, there's going to be a point in time where it's not going to battle back, and you're probably better off taking the loss day to start to stay in business. Do you know how many days years ago when I was solely trading options, where I would take a trade, and this is when, Amazon trading at $3,000, Tesla trading at $2,000. So options premiums were expensive, $800 a contract, $1,000 a contract, $1,500 a contract for in the money. And I would take a trade on a couple of contracts, and I'd be in the trade for $4,000 or $5,000, and it'd go against me, and I was like, oh, this thing's coming back, and I'd get into that mode again, and I'd lose a bunch of money. Where like the next day I really shouldn't have been trading and I couldn't trade, and there was a perfect setup right off the open. I'm like, if I just took my normal stop loss yesterday and didn't lose $2,000 and I lost $500, I would have had $1,500 to buy this option contract, and I would have made $1,500 today in 5 minutes. You know how many days that happened? And I had to realize that it's better to just take the loss and wait for the better opportunity than to force something that day. Guys, even on this play here, look at this 20 SMA play here. 20 SMA short, the low price is 23,442. Confirms by a tick, right? The low was 23,442. Next candle, 442. I could see someone jumping into this trade, and then they get stuck in a 7.5, 8-point drawdown. It's still under the 20. It's still under your reason why. And now it's starting to cook from 23,442 all the way down to 436. There was an easy 5 points there. Easy $50 on 5 micros. And more. And still printing. I would look at this and say, where's the next potential stop? Well, maybe it's this previous low wick. So I want to make sure I'm grabbing my profits into this low wick. I don't want to be a dum-dum and say, well, it's got to lose the wick now. It's got to come down to 424 now. Yeah, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But you know what I can't guarantee? I can't guarantee that it comes to 430. I can't guarantee that it comes to 424. You know what I can guarantee? That I can take profits now at 437 from an entry price of 442. 442 down to 436. I can guarantee that. 437 we're trading at. I can guarantee this 4 points. I can guarantee this 5 points. So I just take the profits, right? Not assuming that it has to get down here. A lot of us assume that because the setup is in motion and because there's these targets, it has to. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I can't guarantee that. I can only guarantee what I can guarantee. With that being said, guys, I'm going to log off. It's Friday. I got some chores to do around the house. Today's Friday. I got to mow the lawn today. I got to do a lot of stuff. But anyways, I hope you guys all enjoy your weekend. I hope you guys took something from the rant. Again, these rants are not speaking to anyone specifically, I guess. They're just thoughts and things and experiences that I've had, and moments that I can share, and things that I do to try to better help myself in these markets. And maybe it's not everything that relates to you, but maybe it's just one thing that sticks out that you just come in and you just focus on that one thing. Remember, we can only focus on one thing as a trader at a time. If it's not accepting the losses, let's do something about that next week. Let's physically break that fight or flight mode by doing something physically to break that state of mind frame that we're in. Let's force ourselves one day to take that daily loss limit, not on purpose, obviously, but if it happens, let's force ourselves the one day to come back the next day. Enough days pass by of doing that, you realize that it's not that scary, right? There's no monster under your guys' bed at night. Okay. With that being said, guys, have a good weekend. See you guys all on the trade floor on Monday.